has got our invitation this morning?
I do. Very good. Please bow your heads. As we approach the Labor Day weekend, we give thanks for the opportunity we have to work and be productive members of our communities. We ask that we be shown the wisdom to use the fruits of our labor, not just for ourselves, but for the benefit of those in the community who are not as fortunate as we have been and are. We ask for strength and healing and better days for those we know and those we don't know who suffer from physical or emotional issues and face other challenges. We give thanks and we express our gratitude for the acts of kindness, of thoughtfulness, of generosity, and of love that have been directed to us. Many unexpected and most likely undeserved. We ask that we have the motivation to engage in acts of love and kindness and generosity and thoughtfulness much more than we've received. And we do all this in your name. Amen. Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Of the things we think, say, and do
is the truth, is fair to all concerned, will build goodwill and better friendships, will be beneficial to all concerned.
Mike, you got a Rotary moment?
right now.
Right now. 2 weeks in a row, live Rotary moments. You were here for it. Chuck, how about a Sergeant Arms report this morning?
We have 44 Rotarians in attendance today. We have 2 visiting Rotarians. We have Carl Ashby from Greensboro Rotary. We also have Deborah Friedman from Summit Rotary.
Carl and Deborah, we can go ahead and just do the paperwork.
Yeah, I know. I knew you were going to say that.
Dale, do we have?
Yeah, we got a couple things on service. The big sweep is September 12th, a week from this Saturday. We got a little park called Mayor Park, M-A-Y-E-R, on Post Street off Chapman near UNCG. So I'll send out an email on that a little later. Project Rebuild, we're going to re-roof a house. Something different, right? This one needs all the underlay, but I haven't seen it yet, but I know it's about 3,200 square feet of roofing to put up. The dates are October 9th and 10th. Rain dates are a week after that. So October 9th, October 10th, Friday, Saturday. And we're looking at doing a week for the bell ring. Haven't got those dates yet, but have that by.
Fantastic. Of course, by Dale, I meant the other Dale, but thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Do we have a birthday and anniversary report?
Yes, we do. Okay. September 3rd. Isn't that today?
Today.
Yes, we have 2 birthdays. Are the birthday boys here? We have Mike Anders and Bobby.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear
Mark's birthday, he gets to groom bear coat and give noodles for rabies shots.
All right.
All right.
September 7th, Dale Hopkins has a birthday.
All right.
Wedding anniversary.
Everybody take the day off.
Wedding anniversary. Daniel, today is your wedding anniversary.
So I was told this morning.
Erica and Albert Parker on the 6th of September, wedding anniversary. 19 years.
All right.
And Sarah and Peter Evanson on September 7th.
All right.
2 years. We have a club anniversary just passed on September 1st. Rob Midget, 22 years.
Very accurate. I think everyone should know that Mike wore a tie today for his birthday.
Ashley, do you have any news this week?
Updates, but I saw, like everybody else did, I guess that we need to be thinking about some meals for the Stansel family, and there's a sign-up sheet for that.
Thank you. Yeah, the Google Doc went out. Thanks to Jim Kennedy for sending that out. But it's still way out. I think we picked the date, and I think the first date we could get was in November.
That was pretty
So
well.
This is a
A
long.
lot of people signed up.
So if you do sign up, kind of remember to sign up for something in 2 months from now. But let's continue to keep out our thoughts and prayers. And do we have who came out this Saturday? Anybody? Did Pete have to pick up trash by himself? Stand up. Stand up. 1, 2. Come on, stand. Very good. Thank you. I was not there, so. Thank you for not having Pete hired homeless. Are there any other announcements this morning? Chris, do you want to talk about fundraising?
Thanks, Dan. Just very briefly. All right, so we are still taking sponsorships. I know a couple members have asked me if they get a sponsor, if we're still equipped to be able to handle that. And yes, absolutely, we can still take sponsors. But the big push right now needs to be on those raffle ticket sales and the event sales. You guys are all doing a great job. Just make sure that you're coordinating with your team, kind of find out where you are. And I know all those teams can get up to 3,000. But thanks for your work so far.
How about labor that day? Are we ready to start talking about that as far as signing up for jobs?
Yeah, so some people have already signed up. I should be able to put a finer point on that. I mean, the good news is with the deal with the ballpark, most of the labor is going to be handled. There's going to be just a few stations that'll need to be manned for a little bit, but mostly I think everybody's just going to be able to come out and have fun.
Showing how membership site?
Thank you for bringing guests. We've written a few letters asking people if they want to join. We've got a couple new members that we will install next week.
Next week?
So Dan, and everybody be sure to say hello to Parker Crescenzo. And is Tom here today? And Tom, but make them feel welcome. Thank you.
Fantastic. Oh, and next week we will also, this is fun, Sarah, I get to pick on you. Sarah brought the pens today. For all of the board, if you recall, at changing the guard, we were short pins for the board. And as we got there, Emily asked Sarah, do you have the pins? And she's like, yeah, I got them right here. So now we have the other pins. We will pin our board next week as well. If there are no other announcements, Bobby, you got any happy dollars today?
Happy dollars. I thought you said depends.
Depends.
This is the 4th week in a row without Buster. We're going to put him on double secret probation this week. Mary.
So as everybody knows, I won't be here next week because I'm going in for my procedure. So here's the funny part to this is that the doctor told me I had to quit smoking, quit drinking coffee, and no alcohol for 2 weeks prior to. My husband asked him if my room was ready because I couldn't stay home. So I'll see you all in a couple of weeks.
Tony, I have 2 happy dollars. First, I'm only physically here because late last night I came back from the most awesome vacation. We spent the last 7 days on the Colorado River, rafting down the Grand Canyon. That was really cool, covering 180 miles on the river, and just about as many rapids. Okay? Helicopters out to a ranch somewhere in the middle of nowhere. We went back to Las Vegas, and then we came back yesterday. That was the greatest, coolest thing, and the most awesome nature you can ever see. That's my first dollar.
Cool.
Second dollar is the timing of the trip we did because last week we had our 30th wedding anniversary. So we timed our trip to do that during our anniversary. So we celebrated that with 18 people we never met before until 2 days prior, somewhere on a riverbank at night.
Very nice.
Wow.
Well, I've got 2. One is for my daughter. I took her to San Diego last week, and we drove, and it was an awesome trip, and we survived. and the other $1 for me making it back. Tip, how convenient.
Oh yeah, right here. There you go. Pig stock. I was going to do it during announcements and I forgot, but fortunately I remembered. Pig stock. We're going to form our barbecue team. I'll send out an email. We're going to have first cook, practice cook at my house September 26th, I think. The actual event is November the 7th, and I don't want to steal any thunder from the fundraisers, so we're not going to get started on this until after the fundraiser's done. But your club does have a very award-winning team, and we need some help. And so it's open to any and all comers of all experience levels, and we'll try not to burn down the woods between my house and Darlene's if we can help it. So.
Chip, don't you kind of sort of have practice every weekend of the year at your house?
Something.
Dennis?
I got two. I finally decided to go out and do my own thing now, so I'm getting closer to retirement, and now I can get closer to doing what I want to do instead of doing what other people want me to do. So I started my own practice, and number two is at the end of this month, I'm going to pay off my house and be out from under that. So.
Summit Rotary actually gave me a perfect attendance award. And I want to thank Kansas City Rotary.
Along those lines, it's great to see our buddy Carl Ashby here. Yeah. We were saying he makes up at this fellow God's office, I'm able to make up at his to keep my attendance up. Good thought. I'm always glad to have you guys.
Thank you. All right. That's true.
Well, Grandpappy said the secret to a long and happy life is to always strive to be the person your dog thinks you are.
All right, well, first of all, I wanted to do what Cheryl told me to do, say, hey, Parker. So I'm announcing the guest this morning. We have Tony Jarrett, and I really appreciate Tony agreeing to come and speak to us this morning. He is the Vice President of Operations and Regional Vice President for Allen Tate. His responsibilities include leading all aspects of operations for all the branches and departments in North and South Carolina, and the sales teams in Uptown Charlotte, South Park, and the Triad region, which combines approximately 375 agents and 9 branches. And I know if he gets a proportionate amount of phone calls from the other 374 agents that he gets from my wife Stephanie, then he's got a very busy day. 2014 chair for Greensboro Chamber of Commerce annual campaign and a member of the Greensboro Chamber Advisory Board. He's the vice chair of the North Carolina Home Inspectors Licensure Board and NCAR Federal Political Coordinator for Congressman Howard Coble. Former member of Summit Rotary in Greensboro, and he is a winner of the Service Above Self Award. He's also the winner of the Greensboro Regional Realtor Association Realtor of the Year. And I thought about leaving this out, but he is a graduate of Chapel Hill. So let's welcome Tony.
As soon as I get down here, I'm headed to Charlotte. Anybody going tonight? South Carolina, North Carolina kickoff tonight, college football. It's like Christmas Day again. Thanks for having me. One, I want to thank all of you for what you do. I was a Rotarian for 10 years. I have a lot of respect for what you do. I had to resign 2 years ago due to what Chris was describing. Just too much on my plate, and I couldn't make that attendance because I was like Deborah, wanted that perfect attendance at my club as well. And I have a lot of empathy for Chris because I was chair of our fundraiser 3 years ago. Every Rotarian should chair their fundraiser at least once. It's a huge job, so hats off to Chris for what you're doing there. And again, thanks for what you guys do for the community. I miss Rotary, I miss the camaraderie, I miss connecting, but unfortunately just time doesn't allow. And I was with Deborah at Summit. Dennis, congratulations on paying off your house. It's time to roll you into a new one then. There's a mortgage interest deduction. That's not a good tax decision that you're making. So by the end of this meeting, we're going to charge you up and rethink that whole strategy that you're doing. So let's talk about where real estate is right now. I told Chris I was going to talk about where we've been, where we are, and where we're going. This is an image of where we were. For those of you, how many of you own a home? Okay, so I'm speaking to a majority here, good. Those years, we just stuck our head because, man, that's the greatest 5-6 years many of us had ever seen. Some crazy stuff was happening. People were getting loans that didn't even have a job. I will tell you a quick story. My mother has just moved here from Florida. Her neighborhood was appreciating at 25% per quarter in Florida before she left. Her condo went up to $600,000 and went right back down to $200,000 like in 12 months. I mean, it was an insane time. So then we left that period and we went to that period. And I will tell you that the horror came in, the terror came in, people became underwater very quickly, a lot of distress. You have no idea how much emotions we had to deal with in our business. And here we are today. So now the sun's come out, it's feeling good again, and life's getting back to, I'm going to use the word normal. It's getting back to normal. I could end the meeting right now. That's the real estate journey right there. But this is kind of some concept for you to think about. One is home ownership rate. Home ownership rate, as you see, we really hit 10 years ago some of the highest participation of home ownership in the country, and now we're shifting back down. We've come back down to 63, which is our lowest in 20 years. Quite frankly, there are some people that should not own a home, and during that process, we found that out. There are a lot of people that should own a home. And so I think this 63, 65% is getting back to equilibrium. Now part of that's going to be, in our next few years, where we're going, is what the government's going to do. There is some talk about the government cutting mortgage interest rates. And I don't know how many of you use that write-off. It's one of the most popular in our tax code. But as all these elections come up, mortgage interest is always at the forefront of that. The other one that's going to come up is Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. And during the downturn, I will tell you, probably 80% of all United States loans were financed and backed security by the United States government. That sounds impressive, but it's also, for some people, it's too much government intrusion in finance of housing. And there's a lot of debate about that. And I think we're going to see some more reform on that. But let's talk about sales. What's happening in the United States right now? That's the pending index. We are very healthy again. We were not healthy for a while. But you can see it looks like a nice rise in sales across the country, and this is through June of this year. Sales momentum has really kicked in. That's our foot traffic. That's the number of people that are out visiting. You see that little downturn. I don't know if you remember that little downturn. It happened here too, and that was that winter we had last year, where we had, I remember St. Patty's Day, where we were closed a couple of days with ice. It really impacted our sales that first quarter. But other than that, we've had a really nice run. New construction is finally coming back. Anybody in the new construction industry here? Well, the home builders disappeared. Many in this market went bankrupt or pulled out or went into renovation, and they're starting to come back. You see all the way to the left, we have about 1.5 million new starts a year as our average for the United States, and it dropped down to 550. I mean, it almost disappeared is what it felt like. And now new construction's coming back, and you can see in 15 we're finally hitting 1 million again. We need it. It's healthy to have new construction. I can't tell you, the stats have been 8 to 9 new jobs are created when a new home is started in your local economy. It is a driver of local economy. A lot of people ask me all the time, what's happening in real estate? Is it real estate's doing good? A lot of other places are doing good. This is a really good thing for all of us as this continues. Now, what price points are selling? I'm going to show you the national. I'm going to show you what's happening here. As you see right here, it looks like everything's selling except one target, which was below 100. I will tell you in 09, 10, and 11 here, guess what the #1 sales was? Under 100. The investors came in hard and fast. When the distress came in, people were getting foreclosed, the investors came in, and a lot of little stuff was moving. Now it's shifting again. We're starting to see this. Now if you look across the country, the 500,000 to 750 is the hottest sales price in the United States right now. We're seeing luxury come back finally again. But here is us. And what you're looking at is the price point breakdowns for Guilford County To the left is the total percentage of the whole, and to the right is whether it was plus or minus from a year ago. And if you look at that, the biggest majority of our sales is 100 to 200. That's 40% of all our sales here in Guilford County are at that. Now, if you take all from up to 200, that's what, 67%. But look at below, 2 to 3, 3 to 5, 5 to 750. Look at 24% up, 17% up, 31% up. This is, as I tell our team, it's fun again. Things are starting to move. But where we're weak over here, the air is rare, is anything over 750 starts to shift. We don't have that million plus. We are seeing Raleigh and Charlotte starting to really turn on those numbers. If any of you have places at the beach, we're starting to see that shift because you can finally buy something on the beach. At Lake Norman in Charlotte, you can finally buy a house on the water. You can afford it, and it's starting to shift again. And the luxury is really pouring on. This has really changed a lot too, that we're seeing days on the market shift. How long does it take me to sell a house in Guilford County? Right now it's almost a 2-month market. That is if it's priced right, that is if it's right condition. You got to be almost 4 months to sell a house. So that has really improved. So we're seeing improvement everywhere. Now that's sales. Let's talk about prices. Prices, this is, you probably can't read all this, but this is a shot of the United States since the downturn. Anybody want to take a stab at how much we lost on average across the United States in home price during that downturn? Anybody want to take a stab? This is the audience participation moment.
30%.
30% is actually closer to 35% loss of home values over about a 2 to 3 year period. I can't imagine being a realtor in Las Vegas, Nevada. They lost 67%. That's a hard conversation. They have finally come back though. But where are we at in North Carolina? North Carolina lost close to 20%. You can't see that, but it says negative 2.1. So we are still in North Carolina negative, but negative 2.1, we're almost back to 0. And just like Timberlake, we're almost back bringing sexy back. 0 is sexy right now. If you can break even, it's sexy again. And so what we want to do is get above that, and then it's going to get fun again. But we're almost there. South Carolina is down 5%, but we're almost back at equilibrium. And I think this is going to change by the second half of this year. That's exciting stuff. Not blue or red states, but you can see where any blue is, that's break even. And the center of the country has really turned it, and a lot of it's around oil and Texas. The Dakotas are doing well. All those states are doing pretty good. But California and Florida were the 2 hardest hit states, and you can still see Florida is still down 30%.
How's Georgia doing?
Georgia is down 8%. So most of the Southeast is single digit, almost 0 again. Good stuff. Now here's North Carolina in the last 12 months. Now that's since 07. The last 12 months, North Carolina is up 5%. So this last 12 months, we're starting to finally see some good churn. South Carolina is up 6.5, and Georgia is up 4.5%. So it's fun to see that. And there's the Southeast. Southeast is up 5. So we're clicking with the whole region right now on price appreciation. We're going to talk about what's doing that. Now here's the price appreciation. It looks dramatic. This is the last 2 years. The United States saw a huge run of price appreciation in 2013 going into 2014. In fact, it hit 14%. We were concerned in our industries because you guys sitting in your homes calling us saying, hey, come sell my house. I'm seeing that price appreciation is up double digit, 15, it's time to sell my house. And that wasn't what was really happening. It was just a shift. Remember, we had 3 years of nothing, and all of a sudden all these buyers came in at one time, buying all these deals they could get, and all of a sudden the prices just snowballed. But what happened is this, it equalized. It came back to normal. So the last 12 months, this is what we're seeing on price appreciation. So your investment is starting to get safe again. It is starting to level off. I don't know about you, Dennis, this is why I pick on you. I don't think you can get 4.5% right now on your savings account. So we've seen a lot of homeowners come in and buy properties and start becoming owners of tenants and buying a few. We've had a lot of clients come in and only buy 1 or 2 homes, just do a couple property, not property management, but buy investment. And I'm telling you, it's actually starting to be a smart investment again, if that's a strategy for you. Dennis, I'm going to sell you up a house before the end of this meeting. Now this is a really good looking graph. All the distress has finally gotten out of here. Now we are a little higher in the triad. We're probably tracking 12 to 15% of the triad region for distressed property. What is defined as distressed? Can't pay my mortgage payment, probably looking at a short sale. I may need to go to foreclosure. Or this, you've heard this term underwater. I just don't have any equity. We're a little higher, but we are starting to get back to the single digit, which is really fun. And what's causing is the investor to come out. And I'm going to tell you another quick story. This is the dramatic difference it had in this market. One of our agents in Huntersville, Tony, I'm going to use you. Tony's an investor. Tony works with this agent, and guess what? He bought 350 homes in 8 months in Huntersville. This is a true story. This is just 2 years ago. That's how dramatic our market changed, because people were going in buying, and this guy was a big investment. And guess what? He just turned it into a property management. This one agent made almost $1 million in 1 year. Guess what her sales were like this year? I care. She had to go back and shift completely back into normal again, because he was a one-time event. But we saw a lot of these one-time events across the country that people were coming in and buying, and now that's shifted, and that's what a lot of this right here represents. Now, the last couple things on this is active inventory supply. This is our big, if I had to give you a challenge that we have right now, it's this. These are for sale signs. The buyers are coming back. And I will tell you, in the last probably 4 or 5 months, we've seen more sales momentum since '07. This is our best year this year in 8 years right here in the Triad region. And the buyers are coming out hot and left. But guess who's not coming in the market? Sellers. We cannot get the sell. We need for sale signs. This is not a sales pitch. We need for sale signs. We don't have enough inventory. And it's shifting the market. And if you look right here, it's historically low. Try it. This is through end of June, and it was worse than that in May. In the spring market, which all of you have heard, our spring is our best time. In fact, it was the worst for listings. In the Triad region, we're down 17%. And if you look at the Carolinas, we have almost 11,000 less sellers in the market than we did 1 year ago. Why aren't sellers coming in the market? Well, the biggest fear, the number one thing I hear is I can't find what I want to buy. So the fear of not finding it, I'm just going to sit tight. The second is I financed my house for 3.5, and now the rates are starting to move. Financially, I don't know that I want to go play with that game. And then third is I don't have enough equity. I don't have enough play money. I don't have enough money to reinvest. And those three things have created a new challenge for us. It's got to change in the next 12 months, or this market's going to shift again. And this is what's driving this. Because we have less inventory, we have more buyers, it's shifted. It was a buyer's market. I mean, it was a pure buyer's market. Now it's become very equilibrium, and now it's starting to shift back into the seller. The seller now controls the market again. That hadn't happened here in 8 years. But what it's doing is it's driving price up simply because of less inventory. And right now, the median, that's the sweet spot, that is the #1 price point in Gilbert County is 170. The average is up to 199. That's the highest we've seen in 6 or 7 years. So the price is not the issue. And that's the projection. The projection for the next few years is normal, 3%, which we're excited about. Well, my last section is cost. Cost is the last barrier and also the plus. And that looks dramatic, but it's not. The mortgage rates have gone up in the last few months, and they're floating close to 4%. I got my license in 1985, and I remember my father shut our company down. My father was a builder here in the 70s and 80s, and he shut his company down in 1982. Anybody want to take a stab at why he shut his company down? He shut it down for 2 years. Well, the recession was part of it. It was the rates. We couldn't sell a house, and then he had his construction loan on top of that. And we saw anywhere from 16, 17, 18% interest rates. And then when I look at this and people go, oh my God, it's going up to 4, I'm like, seriously? Seriously? I mean, this is play money. Now that's what I'm describing to you is this decade. I mean, look, this is fascinating to me. Look at these rates. The 70s, that's the average. It was almost 9%. The 80s, what I described, it was almost a 13% mortgage rate. Then you look at 1990s, it shifted. I remember 1991 when the Iraq Gulf, I remember rates moved to 1.5 points in 1 week. I remember it was very volatile then. But look at the 2000s, our average is 6. Guess what? I think this decade, the average is going to be a 4.5, 5. Guess what? We become conditioned to that. It's just like your gas prices. If you're like me, you're going, oh my God, it's 2 cents cheaper. Let's go over there. You know, people start watching this stuff and they get conditioned. But it is incredible rates. The affordability right now is the best it's been in our generation. What we just went through in the last 4 or 5 years, no realtors have seen what we saw except those that were in the 1929 recession. I mean, no one's seen what we saw in the last few years. And now this is an opportunity for all of us, so whether you're investment or buying, it is really good rates. That's the mortgage rates combined with the payment. And this is another condition. Look at payments. Our average payment in the United States was $1,300 in 06 when the market was really hot. $1,300 payment. Look where it's dropped. People are now used to a $600 to $800 mortgage payment.
They got to pay their health insurance.
Now they're getting that for free, aren't they?
Yeah, the Obamacare slides are next. But before we get there, this, I'm going to jump. This is what's going to change, guys. So inventory was my number one concern. My second is this. If I can get you into a house for 4% and you can get under $1,000, do you know what a 2-bedroom apartment is renting for, looking at the baseball stadium in downtown Greensboro? 1,300, keep going. 17. It's actually almost $1,800 on the 4th floor. I went and looked because I was very curious. $1,800, well, I can get you in a $300,000 home. $300,000 home, you're going to put it away in rent, and this is what happens to your money. That's what happens to your money right there. Because look at the homeowner's blue, by the way. That's the investment you make, and look at the orange down there. That's your rent. You got no tax benefit, you got no equity, you got no savings. So even though we went through this horror, I'm telling you, on the flip side, it is a smart investment. But some people shouldn't own a home. Some people should rent, and that's fine. But this is going to change our market because the rents are starting to go way up, and they keep going up. I never would have dreamed you'd have to pay $1,800 for a 2-bedroom in downtown Greensboro. Never thought I'd see it.
Nobody under 25 knows how to save a nickel.
Well, I'm glad you're going there, because here's my last section, predictions. Let's talk about those 25-year-old kids. So this is, I'm going to jump, this is the picture. There's a huge section of our kids still living with us. How many of you have a kid living with you? How many of you are a kid living with your parents? Well, this is different from our generations. I don't want to get into all that, but I moved out. I couldn't wait to get out of my home, my parents' home. But now I think, in my child's defense, who was 26 when he finally left, the cost of college, the cost of these loans, the job market crashed in the last 5 years, couldn't get a job, finally got a job, and then all that rent was going up. So this shifted. Now, this is what we see getting ready to happen. You ready? They're going to move. You see it? They're going to move out of their parents' home, but right now they're going where? They're renting. They're renting because of this whole job market and their concerns and the confidence of where you're going and saving. They don't have the down payment. And so now the loan mortgage is shifting right now, the down payment. So we're kind of in a conundrum that's creating this situation where home ownership is dropping. So we're seeing first-time home buyers jump, I'm really jumping here, to that, which is a new record for us in the last 6 or 7 years. So we're seeing the millennials come back, but the first-time home buyer was 22, 23 years old 10, 15 years ago. The first-time home buyer today is 28 to 32. And they wait till they get married to almost 30. It's just a different generation that we're dealing with. But they are coming back to home ownership. And the last piece is, this is the other thing, the millennials. You look at millennials between 18 and 34, only 28% of them own a home. That's much different from the generation before. That was probably inverted, flipped 20 years ago. So, but the good news is the millennials, every survey says they want to become homeowners. They want to come. And when you go back to this, oops, we're going to have more, the population is increasing. So an increasing population with millennials coming back into the market, the job market increasing. My last slide of predictions is this. We're in for a nice run, in our opinion. We got to get more for sales. Our appraisals are our big challenge because this moving market has created some challenges for getting appraisals. We've got some RESPA disclosure that Chris can tell you all about in the next Rotary meeting. It's not going to really impact us, we don't believe, but it's going to change the compliance and the paperwork. All this is coming out of all those changes I told you about when we had our head in the sand. Job growth and consumer confidence. As long as those things we're back to normal. Things look very good. The market looks really good. Raleigh, Charlotte, Triad, all are really performing well over this last 12 months. It feels good. I couldn't have had this speech to you 3 years ago. But now that we can say it, I'm telling you, we feel good. And I hope that, Dennis, I hope that we've converted you today. Please come back to us. Please come back to us. Any final questions? I think I've run my time. Yes, sir.
What's the normal rate of return for rental property?
Well, it depends on what you want to try to get, but normally most people are shooting for 10 to 15%. In other words, if you try to invest it and you want to make it on the monthly payment, but it's a 2-3 year at least, and it all depends on what you can find out there. Now, go back to my story earlier. There were such deals out there that I heard people were getting 20, 25, 30% returns. The condition was the only thing they had to deal with. In other words, I go buy this property for $50,000 less, my return, I'm already starting to get my return. How much have I got to put in it? That shifted a little bit because now all that distress has disappeared. All those deals aren't out there anymore. So now the normal is, depending on what you want to try to do, every investor we work with has a different return, but normally 10 is normally a safe bet. If you can't get more than that, you might as well not even do it. Other questions? Okay, I must have hit it. I must have hit it good then for you. Thank you for your time. I enjoyed our time today with you.
Thank you. So see us for spring in your honor. Thank you for coming.
Good.
We'll talk afterwards. Have
Thank you.
Everybody have a good week. Thank you. Raffle.
That was it.
Raffle. Yeah, sorry. Thank you.